7 ways to make a man emotionally invest in you. Welcome to the channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today's a special day. As many of you know, I had surgery 5 or 6 weeks ago. It was a slog of a recovery, but it was touch and go in the surgery for a while. So I'm feeling very grateful to be here. Very grateful to my wife and family, to all the love and support that's come towards me. So thank you so much for that. And in the time off, it gave me an opportunity to slow down, to reflect, and to really think about how can I serve you best and what has been working for clients. And so I took the time to go through all of my client files, as you do sometimes in a hospital bed and coming out, and just see what worked for them. What were the things that really moved the needle that led to all these beautiful marriages that I've had with clients over the years, long-term relationships, children. What was it that was making men emotionally attached in my successful clients that maybe my not so successful clients or my still working on it clients are not doing yet or are still on their way to doing? And so I came up with 7 emotional attachment triggers. I thought, you know what, I'll share them in a video with you guys and then probably do separate videos on each one so I can dive in really deep and show you how to do this. So I'm excited. I think it'll be an 8-video series. And I actually put together an entire curriculum on it. So if you want to go really deep, I can talk about that as well. So let's get into them. I'm going to talk in this video a bit of an overview and then we'll get to the other videos later on. So the first emotional attachment trigger that I found when I went through all of the successful client files, the first thing that successful clients did is they got themselves into an emotionally available place. And I know what you might be thinking. You're saying, Mark, I'm already there. I want a relationship. What's number 2? Bear with me for a second here, because we all say that about ourselves. But this might be for you. If you've been attracting consistently unavailable men, if you've been single for a very, very long time doing it yourself, perhaps if you're the type that says, I don't need a man. I just want a man. If you've had to rely on yourself a lot, this could well be you. Or if you've had a difficult past is another big one. Wanting a relationship does not equal being emotionally available for one. Vulnerability does not come naturally. Vulnerability is what connects us. It's what bonds us, but it doesn't come naturally, especially if you've been hurt by men in the past. So most of us go into relationships, me included, with some kinds of walls that we need to work on taking down so that we can be truly seen. Unfortunately, though, even, I've been on dating profiles for such a long time now as a woman in the past as a man, of course, and work with so many clients that you get a real sense of emotional availability, even from just looking at someone, looking at their body language, seeing how they send their first few messages. So if you've got walls up, guys with walls are going to sniff it out. And finding these blind spots is the first and most important thing you can do to make sure you are ready and available to receive emotional attachment from a quality, emotionally open man, which is what you want. That's what we're here for. But you will get caught up with walled guys if you have walls yourself. And these can be hard to spot because we never think we have them. None of us do. It's like magnet on wood. It just falls off. We could send all the great guys at you. And unfortunately, for many of my clients, when they first come to me, just doesn't magnetize them. They're not ready to receive an emotionally available, open quality guy. So the first big thing I found was these successful clients with all the marriages, all the stories they had gotten themselves into that excellent position ready to receive. The second is about what they made a man feel. You have to remember, we as men, we get emotionally attached to things that give us a certain feeling. Let's take some of the classic masculine stuff, football, investing or Bitcoin, our job or our work. These are not logical things. They're not human connection, but they're not logical. They're very emotional. Okay? We get attached to those things because we get some sort of feeling from them. We feel good about ourselves when our job or our business is going well. We feel great about ourselves when the stocks rise. We feel great when our football team wins. We are still getting emotionally attached as men. Now, I use those examples because we can also apply that to our relationships. So it's about what you make a man feel. And the biggest thing, a lot of women think, well, I need to do things for him, but it's actually the opposite. It's you make him feel needed. You make him feel, I call it accessing his warrior wiring. I'm going to go deeper into this in another video, but if you can make a man feel like a warrior in your presence, you will give him that chemistry, that obsessive energy that isn't to do with sex. Because you can get that energy if you use sex, but that's not sustainable and you don't want to have to use sex to give him that feeling. You can give him that warrior feeling in your presence. Suddenly you make him feel 10, 100 times better than the other women in his presence. He feels like a warrior. He feels useful. He feels needed. He just wants to keep coming back for more, and he emotionally attaches to you because of the feeling you give him. The same way he emotionally attaches to the football game because of the feeling he wants to receive from it, he emotionally attaches to you for a different feeling, but same context, to receive a feeling back. So that's a huge one. First thing, get yourself in a good position. Second thing, make him feel something very, very early on in the dating phase as you get to know him. You can actually apply this to guys you're already with, though. And if it lights him up, he's going to keep coming back for more. Right? We're all selfish creatures in the end. We want to feel good. Number 3 is about getting your needs met without being needy. This one's a real art, and I bring my feminine energy coach to help me in the portal, actually, when I teach this curriculum. It's really important that your requests to get your needs met do not come off as needy, do not come off as demanding. A man, your partner, shouldn't feel like he has to meet your needs. Meeting your needs should be something he enjoys, he looks forward to. It should feel like an opportunity. Have you ever had a man tell you that you are needy when you wanted sex from him? Probably not. Unless it's like the 4th time that day, you are wearing him out. Most of you could not say that, wow, I had a man tell me I was needy when I wanted sex with him. Maybe 1 or 2 of you. But the point is, it's not needy because he wants to do it, because he feels lucky to get the opportunity to please you and himself in the process. So what if all your needs, your emotional needs, could be like that? The way you phrase it, the tonalities you choose, the words that you employ, this all creates that. And it's all about the feminine energy and the requests and the way you do them. So that's the third big thing, is activate his warrior wiring, I should say, and then get your needs met without him perceiving you as needy. If you can do that, he becomes more and more attached to you because he sees the positive outcome. He sees the way he is useful to you and makes you feel, and he feels like a warrior in your presence. This is what really creates that glue. That is not a common thing for a man. Okay, he can have fun times with anyone, he can have sex with anyone, but that really feeling irreplaceable and needed in a way where he doesn't feel forced, that is money time. By the way, if you want to learn about this curriculum, I am doing early bird prices this week. So you get $70 off, access to my private client community, the full curriculum, which is almost 6 hours long. I took a ton of time to dive into it. All the classes are bi-weekly classes with me. I think when you even it out over the course of a year, it's like $10 per class with me personally. So it's bloody awesome. Link in the description if you want to join. Number 4. 4 and 5 go deep. And when I looked at what successful clients were doing, I realized that they really became a special place in their man's life. He had so much skin in the game, so much emotional attachment, that she simply couldn't be replaced. So the 4th one is something I call becoming really his secret keeper. Becoming his secret keeper is about making a safe space for him to share parts of himself that he probably hasn't let anyone else seen or even had felt understood for before. You know, they always say your partner is not your therapist, but there's a bit of gray zone there, because when you spend all your time around someone, or the majority of your time around a singular person, when you share your vulnerabilities with a partner, you know, when you go to places with someone that you wouldn't go with a stranger, you become vulnerable to them. And they can do one of 2 things with that vulnerability. They can honor it and make it safe for you to go there and make you feel accepted for it, validated, or they can have a negative reaction to it. They could outright shame you. They could attack you for it. That would be the worst case scenario, but they can also kind of push it away. They can be quietly uncomfortable with it. And those can really hurt as well, because if you share something that's very vulnerable to you, and even if you get a mixed reaction to it, ain't no way you ever want to share that again. So in a very real way, our partners are our therapists in a sense that they're not professionally qualified to solve our problems, but they can release shame or they can add it to the pile. And there's no denying that. A big point of a therapist is just to remove shame. A big point of a partner should be the same thing. So when it comes to being a man's secret keeper, it's about giving him a space to be with feelings, emotions, and parts of himself that have been put in the dark, that have been put in the shame. And he is able to open up and feel and receive your love when he does that with and around you. If he feels that way, suddenly you're like, you know, in Harry Potter, they have a secret keeper where it's the one person that holds your heart. That's what you become to him, because he's revealed that uniquely vulnerable side to you. So if he was ever to betray you or hurt you, do anything nasty, well, he has a lot of skin in the game now. He has so much to lose. So you become irreplaceable because of that emotional attachment. And he has been able to do it in a place where he feels safe. Now, it's important you don't force this, and I show you how to do that in the curriculum so it's very smooth and natural, and you're not trying to do anything. It happens naturally in the flow of the relationship. Obviously, this one takes a little bit longer to get to than the first few, but if you can do it, suddenly he has so much emotional attachment and investment in that relationship. Number 5, along similar ways, I'm sure you've heard of love languages, but have you heard of language needles or wound languages? The terms are interchangeable. What this means is, I'll give you an example. Have you ever received a compliment where you can remember that compliment was so meaningful to you, you can remember where you were when it was said, you can remember what time of day it was, you can remember how you felt when you received that compliment? There's 5 or 10 compliments in my life that I can remember every single detail of them, that they lit me up so much. So what if you could be that for a man? Why do some compliments and even some acts of service, why do certain gifts, why do they light us up when, 95, 99% of them we forget within a year, but there's a very small percentage that light us up like nothing else? It's because someone loves us in a place where there was a wound. So let's say that you're very confident in your skin. Hey, I got great skin. I love my skin. Someone compliments your skin. You appreciate it, but a year later, you've probably forgotten that compliment. But if you've always felt made fun of for your skin, if you've always felt shame around your skin, if you've never really felt like you had good skin at all, your skin wasn't worthy of love, and then a beautiful, amazing man, he looks at you and he says, the most beautiful thing about you is your skin. And I mean it with all my heart. I know you haven't felt confident about it in the past. When I see you, your skin is the most beautiful thing in the world to me. Okay, when he says that, if it's genuine and if it's really authentic and you feel his authenticity, you are going to melt. That compliment is going to mean so much to you because it compliments and loves a place where there was a previous wound. Now, we all have these wounds, and it's a mistake to think that men don't. Men are supposed to be tough and fearless. The truth is men have wounds as well. And so if you can give love using one of the love languages, but give it very specifically to where there is a previous wound from him, you can give him one of those compliments or act of service or gift, whatever it is, and make him feel loved in a way that no one has ever made him feel before. When you compliment that one thing, when you give him that particular gift, when you provide that special act of service that he doesn't even know that he wants it, he doesn't even know how meaningful it will be because he's got a shame spiral around. So it's not going to be something he can even ask for. But when you ask the right questions, when you know how to be curious about what that thing might be without being invasive and without being needy, and I show you how to do that in the curriculum, you can get to that point where he can share these things with you. And then what I saw in the clients is they can share this. They can basically honor this in the guy. And suddenly the guy goes, oh my God, I feel seen, understood, and loved in a way no one's ever done before. How could I ever replace this? This is so unique. This is unbelievable. How does she even know that I needed that? It's like you read him. So the 4th and 5th, you can see, are a little bit deeper than the first 3. And they're the ones that really build that lifelong bond, that she is irreplaceable vibe. The first 3, you get in a good place, activate his warrior wiring, and get your needs met without being needed. Those you can start doing right away. And by the way, if you're already in a relationship, you can apply them too. The 4th and 5th are how you go really deep and you create that permanent emotional attachment where, yeah, technically he could go and get someone else, but what you guys have created is just so irreplaceable, it's never going to happen. It's like me with my wife. Okay, sure, technically I could go and be with someone else, but think of all the emotional attachment I'd be throwing away. That's dumb. That doesn't make any sense. Like, why would I do that for a fleeting moment of pleasure? The equation, the ratio is so out of balance that it makes no sense for me to ever do anything with another woman. It doesn't make sense for me to cheat on my wife, does it? So you can see it's because we've got that skin in the game. So 4th and 5th trigger, I'll show you how to create that. 6th trigger is about making sure there's some contrast, because the first 5 triggers are so powerful, but unfortunately human brains, we can take stuff for granted. And I don't want you being taken for granted. So no matter how good a food is, if you eat it all the time, it can be taken for granted, right? So the 6th trigger is about making sure we provide contrast. Esther Perel talks about being a little bit away from your partner so that they can admire you, adore you, and that's what people find the most attractive. As a man, I can validate that. So it's about really keeping those standards and priorities. So he just gets that little experience of what it's like when you are not there and when your energy is focused on something else, another priority, a friend, a hobby, whatever it is, and making sure we build that contrast into your life. So while you're doing all these amazing things for him, making him feel like a warrior, making him feel $1 million, making him feel needed, being his secret keeper, being there for him, holding his beautiful parts of himself. He also gets that little bit of contrast of what it's like when you're not there, or what it's like when your attention isn't on him. And that way he never takes it for granted. So that one's really important. And then the seventh and final trigger is about completing the loop. So I found that successful clients, they looped this over and over again, where essentially a man had emotionally attached because they loved the feeling, the feminine energy, everything I've talked about. They love what they got from her, so they attached to her, and that made them invest more. And did you know, as someone invests in something, doesn't have to be a person, could be a stock, a video game character, a pet, it could be literally anything. As you invest in something, you perceive it to be more valuable. As in, hey, that has way more value than any other things like that. You invest in a stock, you're watching that stock. You invest in a pet, you don't care about other animals so much, you care about your pet. Whatever you invest in grows in value in your mind. As this gets momentum, more and more the man is emotionally attaching and investing, and he is essentially there for life because it's a positive feedback loop. Where it goes wrong sometimes is some clients, they stop giving him that positive feedback. They stop going round in the loop, and it starts to become a negative experience for a man where the loop no longer has momentum. We want this to be a positive cycle where the more he invests, the more he gets out, the more he gets rewarded, the more he reinvests, and the more he values it. So it goes round and around in a circle. What can happen is that we close off. We stop doing the first 6 habits. Something happens in our life that knocks us off. And then the loop starts going around the other way and starts giving the guy negative feelings, starts meaning he disattaches, and starts actually rewarding him for disattaching rather than emotionally attaching further and emotionally investing further. So basically, if that loop gets enough momentum and enough positive feedback over time, the guy's going to keep investing. He's going to stay invested, and you're not ever going to worry about him straying emotionally, straying at all, but especially straying emotionally, because there's so much positive momentum built up now. There's so much goodwill. He gets so much from having you in his life that it would just be dumb for him to ever. He can't replace you. He'd have to completely start again and lose all his investment. I mean, who wants to invest in a stock or a business and have all this emotional investment? It's going really well, and then you throw it away and start again. No one wants to do that. The only reason you would do that is if the business is sending you in the negative or costing you money. It's the same with a relationship. If you keep up the loop, it's not going to disattach. So I'm going to do more videos on this, but if you want a 6-hour curriculum, access to my private client community, and calls with me every 2 weeks for less, the calls work out at less than $10 if you join. In fact, it's less than $10 full price. I think it's like less than $7 if you join this week. So early bird pricing, it's really cool. Link in the description. Otherwise, I'm going to have more videos on this. Thank you so much for the well wishes again for me, my stomach stuff and being unwell. I really appreciate you for that. It's been a very special time to connect with my family, just to slow down, to really be present. So it's been really good for me and my growth, and I'm really excited for what the future is going to hold. So thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting me. Can't wait to see you in the next video very soon.